In 2015, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Nepal. Over 22,000 people were injured and millions of people were displaced. A friend of mine invited me to help with the disaster response, and a few weeks later, I was on a flight to Kathmandu, Nepal for the first time. We walked out of the airport, me and 12 other guys, and we really didn't know many details. I just knew that our accommodations had been sorted and there'd be somebody there to pick us up. I walked into this building with all of my bags and was directed into this room, the room I'm sitting in right now. I looked around and there was bunk beds and there's girls' clothes stacked up and there's stuffed animals, and I was really questioning where I was. I walked into the living room and there was 30 girls there singing and greeting me and the people that I was with. I asked the guy that was standing next to me where we were and what this was. He said it's a safe home for kids that have been trafficked or abused. They gave up their room so that we could have a place to stay. It was in that moment that this issue of trafficking was really made real to me. I had heard about it when I was 16 years old. I'd always tried to be more informed about the issue. As I looked around the room, it was no longer a statistic about 40 million people in slavery. It was about these kids. Each one of these precious individual people that had gone through things that no human should have ever gone through. And I was able to see them and interact with them and get to hear some of their story. And over the next years, I got to serve alongside these incredible people here in Nepal and see how they loved and cared for people who were the most vulnerable. The work that they were doing was so incredible. They were seeing kids really healed and restored from things that you wouldn't think people could be restored from. And as I got to build a relationship with this team, what we realized was that they weren't being resourced to do that care to the level that they wanted to do, to reach as many kids as they had the capacity for, and to do it in a way where they were getting paid properly, where they could have the infrastructure that they needed. And so that's why we created Ally. We wanted to make sure that we created an organization that was focused on partnering with national leaders that were focused on restoring survivors of trauma, on ensuring that kids that have been trafficked or abused had access to long-term aftercare and trauma-informed education where they could be fully reintegrated into society at their pace, not at the pace of a system or structure, but at the pace that they needed to heal.
Effective care for survivors requires years of love and support. Many children arrive in our homes around age 14 and will stay for 8 to 10 years. And we're committed to walking beside them on their healing journey for however long it takes. Our long-term recovery programs have already helped hundreds of children rescued from human trafficking experience safety and freedom. But we want to do more. We want to build a community of people who are bold in their generosity, who are dedicated to helping children find safety and healing, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. And we want to invite you to be a part of it through a community we've called The Refuge. The Refuge is a dedicated community of monthly givers who are passionate about helping survivors experience hope, healing, and opportunity. Individuals just like you, bold in generosity and unshakable in their desire to make a difference. The Refuge is so much more than just a monthly donation. It's a community. We want you to feel inspired, encouraged, and motivated by the impact you're making every month. As a part of The Refuge, you'll receive monthly updates showing the impact of your generosity around the world, and quarterly invites to virtual events only for the Refuge members, where you'll be able to gain a deeper insight into Ally's work and hear from special guest speakers. Your monthly donation can change the life of a survivor through long-term aftercare, safe housing, and education. Whether you can give $20, $45, or $200 a month, together we can bring healing and opportunity to survivors who need care.
My journey started in this room because some girls stepped out of their bed so that we could have a place to sleep. And we really want to make sure that those kids have a place to stay, that kids that are going through recovery and restoration always have a place to call their own.
You can change the life of a child rescued from human trafficking. Join the refuge today.